Hi there guys, it's Lee here. Hope you're having a great day. In today's video I'm going to be shooting a short unboxing video for some parts that I've recently purchased for a up and coming Ethereum mining rig build. If you want to have a look, it's the El Cheapo budget mining rig, and that's the one that we're actually going to be building. So I've purchased two graphics cards for it. These are sort of entry-level graphics cards. They are the MSi R7 370s, and these are the ones with the 4 gigs of memory. So that's those there. And then on this side we have our power supply, which is a EVGA 750GQ, which is a 750 watt semi-modular power supply. So that's going to be powering our system. It is actually overkill, so but I have some additional reasons for why I actually purchased this one versus a lesser power one, and I'll come on to that a little bit more actually in that Ethereum budget build. So this one I really just want to focus on the actual unboxing of these components. So what I'll do now is we'll take a closer look at the parts as I unbox them. Okay guys, so let's start with the actual graphics card. It is a MSi R7 370 and this is the 4 gig version. So if you spin it around, you can see a couple of the features on the rear side of the box there. So one of the main features of this particular card is the actual fan design. It's a twin fan design and it runs very quietly. I have the 970, the GTX 970, so the NVIDIA version, and that runs very cool. So I'm hoping this will run similarly. Anyway, let's get it open. There's a little QR code there on the top there. The weapon to own your game. Interesting. Okay, let's continue on. Looks like a little lid bit here. Keep open. That was a bit anticlimactic. It is. Let's have a look at what we've got now. It's got some documentation, a driver CD. This is also very useful, a VGA to DVI adapter. Really useful. I was actually looking for one of those just the other day and couldn't find it, but now I have that one, which is cool. So that's just some documentation and stuff in there. Let's pop that to the side, and then we'll have a look at the actual good stuff. There's just some, just like a registration card there, and this is the actual GPU graphics card itself. So let's just get this out of the wrapper. And just before I touch the card, I'm just going to earth myself. Ground myself there. We'll move this out of the way. Okay, actually just from the back side there you can see all the details. It's a really nice finish. The card is quite light, it's not super heavy or anything like that. And then here's the actual card itself. So it has two of these, they call it like talk style fan blades. I think they're about, I'd say about 50 mil across, something like that. I don't know the exact dimensions. And also there is actually this warning label just to sort of say what it says on there. It says fans not spinning, don't worry. The fans don't actually spin under very low loads, so it has a completely silent operation. I'm just going to pull this sticker off. We're not going to need that. So yeah, we have two of these Torx fans on the obviously the front side there. All the actual covers got these protective covers, so we actually have a HDMI port, 2 DVI ports, and then I think this is like a mini display connector. Then you obviously just got your standard PCI Express connector on the bottom there. So yeah, quite a nice looking card, I think, and certainly not bad quality for the actual money. I think overall it looks like a really nice card. I'm looking forward to actually installing them. I've got two of them, so I'm looking to see how the actual performance is. There is also a connector at the top. I'm not too sure if this actually, it looks like a Crossfire connector, but I wasn't exactly sure whether it did actually support Crossfire. I guess it probably does. That's something I'll have to actually check, so don't take my word for that. That's just a possibility. And then on the back we just have a 6-pin PCI power connector on the back there. So this card actually only uses about 115 watts is the actual spec power rating, so yeah, pretty power efficient. Okay, so that's it for the actual graphics card. Let's move on to the power supply. Okay, so now onto the actual power supply. So this is a EVGA 750 GQ, and it's a 750 watt gold rated power supply. This one is actually a semi-modular design. So you have the main ATX motherboard connector is permanently wired into the actual unit, and then all the other ancillary connectors are modular, as in with a normal sort of modular power supply. So I actually chose this one because it looked really good, and in terms of specification, I like the actual the power output and also the number of connectors and the ancillary devices that it supported. Also, it's a gold rated power supply, so you're going to get very good efficiency from it. Let's just get this opened. So for the actual machine that I'm building, this power supply is actually overrated, a little bit overkill for it. It wasn't entirely necessary. But what I wanted to do is I thought if I'm spending the actual money on it, I might as well go for something a little bit better, and I'll probably make better use of it in the future if I decide to upgrade it. Okay, so let's get inside. So we have this, obviously the actual instruction manual, and I just want to check something really quickly. They do a whole different range of series, but I want to look in here for something in just a moment, but I will come back to that once I have found it. So let's just continue on. So should we do the cables first? Yeah, we'll do the cables. So let's just pull these out. So we have a mains power lead, obviously UK style. Then we have a whole cluster of different cables. Here we have some PCI Express connectors and also a Molex connector, and some other smaller connectors. They're all sort of quite nicely labelled up. Well, that's not a great example, it's just got EVGA on it. But then on the side you've got the EVGA connector, so that's obviously, you've got the 6-pin and then the 2 pins make it a 8-pin PCI Express power adapter there. And then on the, this end, where you've just got the actual, looks actually the same, almost either end, but then this end should be the actual power supply connector in there. So I just want to show that. So they're nicely labelled up, and the cables are very similar to the ones I've got with a Corsair RM850, and they feel very similar to that, although these feel like they've got maybe a little bit more flex in them. So got pretty good quality cables. A whole bunch more there, serial ATA connectors there. And a whole wad of them again. So we've got a CPU connector, more PCI Express connectors. So this actually supports, let me just double check, I think it's 4 times 8-pin PCI Express connectors. So actually, or maybe more. I'll double check that and I'll put that in the actual description or an annotation or something. Just some screws there as well, just to secure it. And then if in the actual box itself, you can just sort of see the actual main power linkage, the main power braid there as well. We've also a Velcro strap on it, which is quite nice. And let's actually have a look at the actual power supply itself. So it has a 135mm fan. There's actually one up from this that actually had a 140mm fan and very similar specifications. That one was actually fully modular. I can't remember the exact model number, but it was also quite a bit more money, and the only difference was a slightly larger fan, and that one was fully modular. In the end, I decided to go with this one. Just take it out of this wrapper. Okay, so this is the main power unit here. So like I say, it's part modular, so you've got your main ATX motherboard power cable, and it's actually quite nicely braided and has a Velcro strap there as well, which is quite nice. And then you have your rest of your actual peripheral connections, and there's a whole sort of bunch of them, and they're all obviously, that part is actually fully modular, so you can plug in and take out as required. The fan is 135 mil, although the actual design of it, I'm not too sure why, but I don't know, it almost looks smaller. It said on the box 135 mil. I'm sure that's the actual specification, but it just, I don't know, it just seems to look a little bit smaller there for some reason. Don't know what that is. Just some various information on the actual side there. So you've got the maximum power output at 50 Celsius is 750 watts, and it just tells you like the amperes. This is actually a single 12-volt rail, and that is 62.4 amps. So it can power a good couple of high-powered graphics cards. So I'd say it quite easily powers two 200 watts or two 250 watt power supplies, or four 100 watt, in that sort of ballpark, graphics cards itself. Sorry. That's it. It's an 80 plus gold power supply, so it has very good efficiency. I think for the gold rating, I think it's at least 90% efficiency. I'm not 100% sure on that. That's just from memory, but I'm pretty sure it's at least 90%. It could be a little bit higher. Also on the actual, depending on what point of view, you've just got your standard power switch and obviously mains power connector itself. Just all black. I wouldn't say it's a matte finish. There's a slight sort of sheen to it, but not very. Quite a nice finish on there. Very good quality. It's also quite weighty as well. I think that's also a pretty good sign of a good quality power supply, is how much it actually weighs. With this power supply, it also has one other thing, which is what I was actually going to refer to the manual. It actually has a eco switch just there, so presumably when you flick that switch it goes into some kind of power saving state. However, I'm not too sure exactly what the compromise would be, so I don't know whether it just reduces the fan speed or something like that, or whether it disables part of the connectors or the maximum output to supply. So what I'm going to do is just very quickly, I'm just going to skim through the manual and find out exactly what that switch does. Okay guys, so I just had a quick flick through the manual. It's actually on the first and second page, and it says what is eco thermal control system, and the control system, basically it allows the power supply to turn the actual fan off whilst it's in operation. It will still automatically turn on as and when needed, but it reduces the actual power consumption of the actual power supply and allows it to run a little bit hotter, but also in a more power efficient manner. So turning the switch on will basically turn the fan off until a certain temperature or power consumption, and at that point the actual fan will automatically turn back on. If you turn the actual eco setting off, the fan will run constantly and adjust accordingly, as a normal power supply fan would do. So that's what the switch does, and now we know. Okay guys, so that's it for this unboxing series. If you want to see this hardware actually in use, be sure to check out my other videos. These particular pieces of hardware are actually going to be used in the upcoming Ethereum mining rig build, and that will probably be uploaded most likely after this video, so be on the lookout for that. Hopefully you've enjoyed watching, found it informative or useful, and yeah, I'll be uploading more videos like this in the near future, so if you like the content, be sure to subscribe, and I'd appreciate it if you like this video, of course. If you have any questions or comments, put those in the comments box below, and I'll be sure to get back to you guys. Till next time, bye bye.